If you are 50 years old and you have type 2 diabetes, your body is not 50. One of the most respected diabetes research centers in America ran thousands of people through a biological aging test. Not their birthday age, their real age, the age their cells and organs are actually functioning at. And the average person with type 2 diabetes came back 12 years older than what their birth certificate says. 12. You're 50 on paper, but your body is running like a 62-year-old's. And a separate study from the University of Cambridge, 1.5 million people, 19 countries, found that if you were diagnosed at 30, up to 14 years have already been shaved off your life. Not because diabetes kills you in one dramatic moment, because it is aging you quietly, organ by organ, tissue by tissue, day after day, in ways that nobody sits you down and explains when you get that diagnosis. Your doctor told you to watch your sugar. What nobody told you is that while your sugar stays high, a chemical reaction is happening inside your body right now that is literally cooking your proteins, shrinking your brain, dissolving your muscles, and making your skin look and behave a decade older than it should. And the most disturbing part? This process starts before you're even diagnosed. But here's what changes everything, and why this video will change the way you think about this disease forever. The aging is not permanent. Researchers proved that when people got their blood sugar under aggressive control, their biological age came back down to match their real age. The gap closed. The clock reversed, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly how diabetes is aging every major system in your body and precisely what to do to push that clock backwards. Stay with me. Let's start with what's actually happening inside you right now, at a level so small you can't see it, can't feel it, and your doctor has almost certainly never explained it. When your blood sugar stays elevated, the extra glucose floating through your bloodstream starts doing something destructive. It latches onto proteins, the structural molecules that hold your body together, the ones in your skin, your blood vessels, your joints, your organs, and it bonds to them randomly without any control like rust forming on a pipe. Once it bonds, it triggers a chain reaction that produces compounds scientists literally named after what they do to you. They're called AGEs, advanced glycation end products, and they age you. That is not a coincidence. That is what they do. These compounds cross-link your collagen, which is the protein that keeps your skin firm, your blood vessels flexible, and your joints smooth. Once collagen is cross-linked, it becomes stiff, brittle, and your body can't break it down and replace it the way it normally would. Your skin loses its bounce, your arteries harden, your joints lock up, and here's the number that should scare you. Collagen in your skin turns over incredibly slowly, roughly once every 15 years, and over the course of a lifetime, this glycation process can damage that collagen by up to 50%. That's not a guess. That's measured in skin samples from diabetic patients compared to non-diabetics the same age. Under a microscope, the diabetic skin is measurably older. The cells that are supposed to rebuild it are shutting down, entering a state of premature retirement where they stop dividing, stop repairing, and just sit there doing nothing. This is why diabetics look older. It's not stress, it's not lifestyle, it's chemistry. Glucose is rewriting the age of your skin from the inside, and it doesn't stop at skin. Your brain is taking the worst hit of all, and almost nobody talks about it. Researchers analyzed brain scans from 20,000 people and compared healthy adults to those with type 2 diabetes, matched for age and education. And what they found is one of the most alarming findings in modern diabetes research. The rate at which the brain loses grey matter, the tissue responsible for your memory, your decision-making, your ability to learn new things, your processing speed, was 26% faster in diabetics. 26%. If a healthy brain ages 1 year, A diabetic brain ages 1 year and 3 months. Compound that over a decade, and you're talking about a brain that's functioning nearly 3 years ahead of where it should be. Over 2 decades, you've lost roughly 5 years of brain function that you were never supposed to lose. The study found that diabetics had an additional 13% decline in executive function beyond what aging alone would cause. That's your working memory, your ability to think flexibly, to switch between tasks, to plan ahead. Processing speed dropped an extra 7%. And the region of the brain responsible for motivation and reward showed over 6% more tissue loss than it should have. But here's the line from the researchers that hit me the hardest. By the time most people are formally diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, significant structural damage to the brain may have already occurred. The damage is ahead of the diagnosis. It's happening while you're pre-diabetic, while your doctor is telling you your numbers are a little elevated, while you're thinking you still have time. You don't have as much time as you think. Now let's go below the neck, because your muscles are disappearing faster than they should be, and nobody is sounding the alarm. A study followed older adults with and without diabetes for 3 years and measured the strength in their legs. The non-diabetic group lost 9% of their leg strength. Normal aging, expected, nothing unusual. The diabetic group lost 13.5%. That is 50% faster, and it wasn't just that they were weaker. The quality of the muscle itself had degraded. The remaining muscle was generating less force per unit of mass because it was being infiltrated by fat and broken down by chronic inflammation and insulin resistance. This creates a trap that most diabetics never see coming. Muscle is the number one tissue in your body that pulls sugar out of your bloodstream after a meal. When you lose muscle, your blood sugar control gets worse. When your blood sugar control gets worse, you lose more muscle. When you lose more muscle, your blood sugar gets even worse. It's a spiral and it accelerates. Every year you don't intervene, your blood vessels are aging just as fast. High glucose directly attacks the thin layer of cells that lines the inside of every artery and vein in your body. These cells are supposed to produce a molecule that keeps your blood vessels relaxed, open, and flexible. When glucose damages them, they stop producing that molecule and start pumping out inflammatory signals instead. Your arteries stiffen, your blood pressure rises, plaque builds up faster. This is why diabetes and heart disease are so tightly connected. It's not that diabetes creates a risk factor for heart disease. Diabetes is physically aging your cardiovascular system years ahead of schedule. And here's where the science gets even more specific. Researchers took biological age measurements from individual organs of diabetic versus non-diabetic people and found that the aging is not spread evenly. The cells in your pancreas that produce insulin were 15 years older than they should have been. Your blood was 10 years older. Your liver was 4 years older. Diabetes doesn't age your whole body at the same rate. It targets the exact organs that control your blood sugar with surgical precision, aging them fastest, which makes the disease worse, which ages them faster. It's a feedback loop built into the biology of the disease itself. And on top of everything I have just described, there is one more layer that researchers are only now beginning to fully understand. And it might be the most important one. When cells in your body are damaged beyond repair, they're supposed to self-destruct. It's a built-in safety mechanism. But some damaged cells refuse to die. They stop working, they stop dividing, but they stay alive, sitting in your tissues and pumping out inflammatory chemicals that damage everything around them. Scientists call them zombie cells because that's exactly what they are, not alive in any useful sense, not dead either, just lingering and causing harm. Research has shown that diabetics accumulate significantly more of these zombie cells in their immune system, which is one reason diabetics are more vulnerable to infections and heal more slowly from wounds and injuries. But here's the breakthrough. Mayo Clinic just published results this year showing that a natural compound found in onions, apples, and berries was able to clear these zombie cells from diabetic kidneys and actually improve kidney function. The zombie cells are not permanent. They can be removed, but only if you take action. So let me lay it out clearly. Your skin is aging faster. Your brain is shrinking faster. Your muscles are wasting faster. Your blood vessels are hardening faster. Your pancreas, your liver, and your blood are biologically older than the rest of you. Your immune system is clogging up with damaged cells that refuse to die but refuse to do their jobs. And all of it, every single piece of it, is being driven by one thing: chronically elevated blood sugar, fueling a cycle of protein damage, inflammation, and cellular breakdown that accelerates every year you leave it unchecked. Now here's why I'm telling you all of this. Not to scare you, to arm you. Because the same research that proved diabetes ages you also proved, with hard data in large clinical trials, that the process can be slowed, stopped, and in many cases pushed backwards. The largest diabetes treatment trial ever conducted tracked thousands of participants over 5 years and found that when blood sugar and blood pressure were brought under tight control, the 12-year biological age gap closed. Their bodies came back to their actual age, not with some experimental therapy, not with a surgery, with disciplined, consistent management. The glycation research showed that just 4 months of tight blood sugar control reduced the production of those protein-damaging compounds by 25%. 4 months is all it took for the skin to start repairing itself, for the collagen damage to slow down, for the body to begin clawing back what diabetes had taken from it. A study of over 45,000 people found that physical activity didn't just slow biological aging, it literally reversed it. And for diabetics specifically, the reversal was even stronger than for the general population, because exercise directly attacks insulin resistance, which is the engine driving the entire aging process. You don't need to run marathons or sign up for a gym you'll never go to. Brisk walking alone has been linked to a biological age up to 16 years younger by midlife, and every additional 1,000 steps per day was connected to a 6% drop in diabetes risk. Even something as simple as going for a walk after dinner, not a workout, just a walk, measurably flattens your blood sugar spike and tells your muscles to start pulling glucose out of your bloodstream, which is the single most important thing you can do after eating. The foods in your kitchen are weapons you're not using. Onions, gambas, apples, berries, and capers contain the same natural compound that Mayo Clinic used to clear zombie cells from diabetic kidneys. Cinnamon, cloves, oregano, and allspice have been shown in lab studies to block the formation of the very glycation compounds that are stiffening your collagen and hardening your arteries. Blueberries, grapes, and raspberries contain a compound that reduces the tissue damage glycation causes. And simply changing how you cook your food makes a measurable difference. Boiling and steaming produce dramatically fewer aging compounds than grilling, frying, or roasting. The same chicken breast, prepared 2 different ways, delivers a completely different dose of the molecules that are aging you from the inside out. Here is what I need you to do. Start walking after your meals and do it consistently, because even a short walk after eating does more for your blood sugar than most people realize, and if you can extend that walk to 20 or 30 minutes, you are going to see a real, measurable difference in how your body handles every single meal. Eat whole food instead of processed food. Eat your fruit whole instead of drinking it as juice. Add cinnamon and berries to your morning routine, not because either one is a magic cure, but because they are chipping away at the glycation and zombie cell accumulation that is silently aging you every day. Cook with water whenever you can. Steam your vegetables, poach your chicken, boil instead of fry. And save the high-heat grilling for once in a while rather than making it your default. Load your plate with onions, apples, colourful vegetables and the herbs and spices that have been shown to fight the exact chemical process that is making your body older than it needs to be. And above all, take your blood sugar seriously. Not as a number on a screen that you glance at and forget, but as a direct, real-time readout of how fast your body is aging at this very moment. The Cambridge data was crystal clear. Every decade of earlier action saves approximately 4 years of life expectancy. 4 years per decade of taking this seriously. That is not a metaphor or an estimate pulled from thin air. That is calculated from 1.5 million people across 19 countries. The difference between a 50-year-old diabetic who acts on this information and one who doesn't is the difference between a body that functions like it's 52 and a body that functions like it's 62. That is 10 years of mental sharpness, physical strength, independence, and quality of life that you either keep or hand over based on what you decide to do starting today. Diabetes ages you. That is a proven, measured, documented fact. But the science is equally clear that you have the power to reach in and slow that clock down, and in many cases turn it back. You are not powerless. You are not broken. You are behind, and the research says you can catch up. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because their doctor almost certainly never laid it out for them like this. And now you just did.